Sweet 16 and bold as love, the danger I've been dreaming of. Sweet 16 and bold as love, the danger I've been dreaming of. Sweet 16 and bold as love, the danger I've been dreaming of. Sweet 16 and bold as love.
Hey y'all, it's KK Witchy. So I've decided to do another herbal / oil for you guys. And what this will be, since in bulk has passed and we're getting a little bit closer to spring. Not much here in East Tennessee because February is like our worst, snow winter month, But I thought it would be fun to share a fairy oil that I do, and not fairies like Tinkerbell, like real fairies. Yeah. So, if you work with fairies, this will be a kind of a fun, quick little video. And I'm going to show you how you can just use 3 ingredients if you want to make a fairy oil. It don't have to be all fancy smancy and stuff like that. And I'm going to share with you what I use also. So first off, I have some dried rose petals. It's fun to incorporate anything from nature when you're dealing with nature spirits. So I've got dried rosemary, or not rosemary, dried rose petals, excuse me. But you can also use fresh rose petals if you wish. You can also use fresh anything that you want to use. It don't have to be roses. It can be, lilies or dandelions or just wildflowers that you find out in your yard. Next thing you want to use, cinnamon. I have cinnamon sticks here. I also have the cinnamon powder. These just, from your grocery store. Really, really easy to obtain. So, the next thing I'm going to be using is mugwort and catnip and flower. Now, it's starting to become really, really easy to get a hold of catnip and flower. The other day I was at the dollar store and noticed in their pet section that they actually had catnip for your feline friends. So I found that pretty cool. So really, really easy to obtain catnip nowadays. Also roses. It's really, really easy to obtain roses because almost every local gas station here in East Tennessee sells roses. So, but again, it can be any kind of flower, that you wish to use. The next thing you'll need is a bowl. I'll be using a bowl for this, or you can use your morel and pestle, whatever you wish to use. So now that I have my bowl here, the first thing I'm going to be using is mugwort, and I'm going to be using about a palm of that. See, I have small hands again, so just sprinkle some of that in. Again, if you want to use a morel and pestle and crush it up, you can. It's totally up to you. The next thing that I'm going to be using is my catnip leaf and flower. I don't have a lot of this, so I'm just going to use a little bit. Plus, if the cats smell this, they'll be in to get it. So just like, I guess like half a palmful. I'm knocking over everything. The next thing that you want to do is I'm going to be taking my hands and putting my intention into it. Again, it's fun to add any kind of nature elements that you find out in the woods, such as, leaves, acorns, weeds, flowers, nature's flowers, anything that you can find. But I'm going to be putting my intention into it while I mix it up. The next thing I have is my little jar that I'm going to be putting it in. Again, mason jars are really, really easy to obtain. But if you're like me, I like to use leftover dip jars, dips and chips jars. Well, dip jars. Anyway, so I've got this, and I haven't added my roses and stuff like that to it yet. But again, if you have any acorns or anything else, that you want to add in your oil, please do so. Do what feels right to you. For my oil base, again, there's so many oils out there that you can use. I'm choosing to use sweet almond oil because fairies do have a sweet tooth. With that being said, also, if you would like to add raw honey, that's totally up to you too. I don't do that just because it's kind of like more sticky for me, and I really don't do well with stickiness. But I do leave honey offerings for the fae. So I have sweet almond oil, and I'm going to pour a little bit at the bottom because I don't want the herbs to stick to the bottom. And then I'm going to add my thing. My herbs, my thing. Psst. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is be adding my roses. Again, you can use fresh or dried, however you want to do it. I'm going to be adding 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 to it, and then adding the rest of my oil. Now before I finish up, I'm going to throw a half cinnamon stick in. Again, if you want to use cinnamon powder, you can. Dang, that was really hard to break. Half of that. And now I'm going to be adding the rest of my sweet almond oil. Sorry, that was my phone. And voila! So you want to put your lid. And you can use this as offerings to the fae. Again, they do have a sweet tooth, so make sure you offer them something to drink, such as milk, or, you know, any kind of wine or things like that. So I've got my label. I'm going to just stick it to where the stickiness is. And it'll stick without using any tape. Voila! And I didn't use a lot of this because I'm running out of oils. But voila! And in a couple days I'll be straining it. I guess within maybe 2 days because I do like it fresh. So again, if you wish to, you know, use any other kind of herbs to attract the fae, I'm just going to name off a couple for you. Again, catnip, really good. Eucalyptus, mugwort, wintergreen, cinnamon, hawthorn berries, spearmints, peppermints, witch hazel bark, ginger, sassafras leaf, chamomile, however you wish to pronounce it, ginseng, eyebright, and those are just a couple to name off. White oak bark is also a good one. And again, if you want to add any other kind of, you know, nature base to the oil to attract the fae, please do so. Again, you got to remember when dealing with fae, they really like to have offerings to them. Like if they do you a favor, instead of you saying thank you, they wish to have, you know, a gift in return to do that with. So I'm going to let this set for like a day or so, and then I'm going to put it in a little seashell and offering up as an offering. So if you have any questions or anything, please let me know. Again, a simple way to do it is if you don't have all these ingredients, you can just use, you know, cinnamon, chamomile, and catnip and leaf, you know, or you can use ginger and things of that sort. And they don't have to be in fancy smancy jars like this. You can even get them like in tea sets, like tea bags. I know chamomile is a really popular tea. So also ginseng is, and ginger. So if you can get your hands on that, you're good to go. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And